I didn't even know that I had torn my ACL. It was non-contact. It literally was just a freak accident. So I had no idea what was going on. And I felt a pop and it was extremely painful. But I was like, I don't want to be pulled out of the game. I had worked so hard to get there. And I was like, I'm absolutely doing anything I can to stay on the court.
Grace Yoder is the definition of persistence. 3 schools in 2 years, working to pay for school while waking up early for extra reps, a journey back from surgery on an ACL and meniscus, and so much more. But first, Grace, how did you fall in love with volleyball to begin with?
I started playing volleyball when I was around 14, so like heading into high school. And it was awesome. I absolutely loved the sport. It was the only sport I played in high school, and I knew I just really wanted to take it to the next level. So I was in the gym every single day, training as hard as I could. And I finally got the opportunity to play for one of my dream like club volleyball teams. And so I was able to go there for my junior and senior year and really get some eyes in the college world. Started through the recruiting process. So it was a little past COVID, but we were still really heavily affected by like all of the fifth years and stuff. So I ended up going into the junior college route. So I played for Northeastern Junior College, and then I ended up transferring out of there to West Liberty University.
And it wasn't an easy time. Can you share some of the challenges during those first few years in college?
Heading into college volleyball, at least compared to like the high school level, it's a really, really big jump. The game is just a lot faster. Everybody's stronger and bigger and more athletic than you've ever seen at the high school level. So it was definitely a really big jump. I spent hours in the gym working on my craft, especially like when I was at the junior college level. I knew that I really, really needed to hone in on my technical ability in order to be able to transfer into the NCAA level. So that's what I did. I mean, every morning waking up 6 a.m. with one of my teammates, and we went into the gym and we just got those reps in. And I think that's really what helped me be able to get to that next level.
And you put so much hard work in, and unfortunately, you tear your ACL. During that same game, you tried to walk it off and keep playing. What were you thinking in that moment?
Honestly, I didn't even know that I had torn my ACL. I heard a pop in that game. And before that, I've never dealt with any injuries before, except for like a slight ankle roll or whatever, just the usual. But like I had never experienced anything like that before, so I really didn't understand what was going on. And in that game, it was like nothing happened. It was non-contact. It literally was just a freak accident. So I had no idea what was going on, and I felt a pop and it was extremely painful. But I was like, I don't want to be pulled out of the game. Like I had worked so hard to get there, and I was like, I'm absolutely doing anything I can to stay on the court. And with all the adrenaline going on, I think I was kind of able to push through a little bit. And then in that third set, it kind of took a turn for the worse. And I think I made a wrong movement again. And I was just like, I was done. I couldn't get up anymore.
That's the definition of a true competitor wanting to stay in and contribute and help the team win. So the recovery process is long and challenging, and you turned it into something positive by sharing your journey with others online. What inspired you to start doing that?
I had gone a few months into the recovery journey. I think I started my social media around March, which was about 4 months after I had torn it. The biggest thing that inspired me, honestly, was just I had never gone through something like this before, and I just wanted people to have a better understanding of it. Because while I was going through the the recovery process for ACL, there were so many unknowns. I didn't really have anybody giving me advice for anything. Like I was just kind of thrown to the wolves with it all. I had no resources. I was, going from physical therapist to physical therapist trying to figure everything out. And that's really what inspired me to just start posting to social media. I was like, I'm sure if I have had issues, other people have also had issues too. And I think having like a big sister or role model or somebody that I can look up to in that time would have been really helpful. So I started posting and it kind of took off from there.
Obviously, you come from a place with a big heart, which definitely goes noticed, thankfully. I'm curious, ACL recovery is a long physical process. But I'm more curious, what did you learn about your own mind during that time?
Just because the recovery process is so long, I mean, it takes a year out of your life that you're not playing the sport or like being active again. And that is very, very challenging mentally. I definitely struggled with my mental health over that time, but I would say the biggest thing for me was that I learned that my identity does not revolve around my sport, because before then, my entire identity was around the idea that I am a college volleyball player. I'm competing at one of the highest levels. That was fully who I was, and I didn't know anything outside of that. And tearing my ACL really forced me to look beyond that and see who I was without the sport of volleyball. And it really, really pushed me to grow and evolve from there.
Hey, quick pause. If this conversation is providing you value, please take literally 5 seconds and hit that follow or subscribe button on your app. This is the best way to make sure that you don't miss any value from future episodes. Now back to the conversation. That's a conversation, unfortunately, that comes up all too often, is that athletes don't know who they are outside of their sport. So yours was through your ACL injury, unfortunately. What advice would you give to some other former athletes to help find themselves outside of their sport?
The biggest piece of advice that I would give is to just start experimenting with other things outside of your sport that bring you joy. And you're not going to know what those things are until you really start like putting yourself out there. For me, I obviously started creating content, and that was one of my creative outlets. Like before then, it was all sports and athletics. And with content creation, I was able to like express my creativity in a different way besides like arts and crafts and stuff like that. So that was really helpful. I think one of the biggest things for me too was I got involved in a lot of like video editing and photography, which opened up the doors for me in different areas. I got an opportunity to work in professional sports and professional hockey, which was really cool. But that would have only happened if if I hadn't put myself out there and attempted to try different things. So
I'm curious, what are some of the habits that you developed during your ACL recovery that you still have today?
the art of discipline and consistency. I don't think I realized how disciplined you have to be during ACL recovery. I thought I was disciplined before as an athlete. Obviously, you go to the gym every day, you train every day, but there is just a different level of consistency that you need to have through the injury recovery process, I would say. I mean, you're showing up every single day, at least in the beginning stages for ACL recovery. You're working 2 to 3 times a day to get your range of motion back, your extension back. And it is super easy to throw in the towel and give up or just only do it once a week. But I really, really wanted to get better. I wanted to get back to my regular athleticism, and I knew that I had to put in that work. So it just showed me a different level of discipline that you needed to have. And I think I'm taking that with me as I'm fully recovered now.
I love that answer. And I'd actually like to dive into a little piece that you said there. You said the art of discipline. So often we see online the science of discipline, just do A, B, and C, X, Y, and Z, and you'll get this result. And obviously there are protocols and there's things that you had to follow to recover your knee successfully. I'm curious how you see the art side of things, making it unique to you.
It is an art. Like, to have discipline, I think you have to make it like your own thing. So, like for me, in the beginning stages, obviously I still had to show up to practices and lifts and games and conditionings and all that stuff. And it's still, I mean, it's 5 to 6 hours out of your day that you're dedicating to go to the sport, but you can't really participate in anything, but you still have to show up for the team and for your coaches and stuff like that. And I found it really, really difficult to block away that kind of time and implement 3 times a day doing some sort of physical therapy or rehab. So I call it an art because you're really trying to fit everything into your own schedule and make it your own thing. But you still have to have that discipline at the end of the day to get it done.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received about discipline?
The biggest piece of advice that I've ever received was that even on the bad days, you still have to show up. It's like if you're an athlete and you're supposed to go on a run that morning and you just don't feel like it. There's a difference between like pushing through, pain and injury, and then there's a difference between just pushing through fatigue and just not wanting to do it. So I think the biggest piece of advice about discipline was that you have to show up every single day, even if you're not feeling it. You you stay disciplined and you push through that kind of fatigue, you're going to be so much better off than you were if you didn't do that.
But you're definitely not only testing the body, but testing the mind there as well. Grace, the idea of simple wins is more than just this scoreboard. What does simple wins mean to you?
Definitely means like the small wins every single day. In ACL recovery, that was one of the biggest things that was shown to me. Every single day, you had to show up and do something to make yourself better than you were the day before. And it wasn't something massive like, getting a single leg pistol squat. It was literally down to, okay, I got to 85 degrees yesterday and I'm going to get to 86 degrees today for my bending or something like that. Like it was literally down to something so small. But those simple wins add up every single day. You get better and suddenly you're back to normal and you're back to competing the way that you used to be.
Grace, you've got an incredible heart. You share a ton of value online. Where can people find you?
So my social media handles are at Grace Yoder with 2 G's for everything, for all social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X.
Grace, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
I have one final question for you. Who else would benefit from listening to this conversation? If you have someone in mind, go ahead and share the episode with them right now. If you don't think of anyone immediately, go ahead and leave us a review on whatever platform you're on so people just like you can find the episode. Thank you for your time. Stay strong.